and welcome to the next in our study of cities of the Bible. Today we're looking at one city most familiar from the Old Testament and one city most familiar from the New Testament. The first city we're looking at is the city of Nineveh. So founded by Nimrod, great-grandson of Noah, Genesis chapter 10 and verses 6 to 12, Nineveh was for many years the capital city of the mighty Assyrian Empire. At the height of its prosperity, Nineveh was a great city, according to Jonah chapter 1 and verse 2 and Jonah chapter 3 and verse 2. With a population of 120,000, according to Jonah chapter 4 and verse 11. It would have taken a traveller 3 days to go around Greater Nineveh, with its numerous outlying suburbs, and a day's journey to reach the centre of the city, Jonah chapter 3 and verse 4. The most famous biblical personality connected with ancient Nineveh was the prophet Jonah. Assyrian kings were cruel and ruthless. This pagan nation had invaded and pillaged the homeland of the Israelites on numerous occasions when Jonah visited Nineveh about 760 BC. The prophet wanted the city destroyed, not saved, because of its wickedness. But the people repented and was spared by a compassionate God. Jonah chapter 3 and verse 10. God's love for a pagan people was deeper than his messenger could understand or accept. Nineveh was eventually destroyed about 150 years after Jonah's visit, in 612 BC. It fell after a long siege by an alliance of Medes, Babylonians, and Scythians. The attackers entered the city through walls made weak by flooding of the Kosher and Tigris rivers. The sun-dried bricks of its buildings were also dissolved. This was a remarkable fulfillment of the prophecy of Nahum. The gates of the rivers are opened, and the palace is dissolved. Nahum chapter 2 and verse 6. Significant archaeological discoveries at Nineveh included the temples of Nabu and Ishtar, Assyrian gods, and the palaces of 3 Assyrian kings, Ashurbanipal, Ashurnazirpal, and Sennacherib. One of the most important discoveries was the royal library of Ashurbanipal, which contained over 16,000 cuneiform tablets. These include Mesopotamian stories of creation and the flood, as well as many other religious and historical texts. It was to Nineveh that Sennacherib brought the tribute he exacted from King Hezekiah of Judah. 2 Kings chapter 18 and verses 13 to 15. Nineveh was one of the oldest cities of the ancient Near East. Excavations down to the virgin soil indicate the site was first occupied perhaps 4,500 BC. The second city that we're looking at is the city of Bethlehem. Located in the hill country of Judah in southern Palestine, the humble village of Bethlehem is famous as the home of David and the birthplace of Jesus Christ. Bethlehem is situated about 5 miles south of Jerusalem. The region around Bethlehem today is known for its fertile hills and valleys. Its busy marketplaces and religious shrines continue to attract tourists. Bethlehem's main attraction is the Church of Nativity, which is supposedly built over the birthplace of the Saviour. Most scholars agree this is one of the best authenticated sites in the Holy Land. The present building, erected over the cave area, which served as a stable for the crowded inn, was built by the Roman Emperor Justinian I in the 6th century AD. The city and the church are especially popular as destinations for pilgrims during Christmas celebrations. Bethlehem is also closely associated with King David, Israel's favourite king. Known as the City of David, Bethlehem is his ancestral home and the site where Samuel anointed David as Saul's successor. The prophet Micah foresaw the coming of a ruler in the line of David who would be born in Bethlehem, Micah chapter 5 and verse 2. The city was the original home of Naomi, and it served as the setting for much of the book of Ruth. Other popular attractions at Bethlehem for Holy Land tourists are the fields of Boaz, where Ruth gleaned grain after the fields had been harvested, and also Shepherd's Field, where the angels announced the birth of Jesus to the shepherds, Luke chapter 2 and verses 8 to 18. The name Bethlehem means house of bread, probably commemorating the reputation of the entire region as a grain-producing centre in Old Testament times. How appropriate that Jesus Christ, who is the bread of life, was born in a town with such a name. Thanks very much.